All right, we're back, and I now have my camera placed on my tripod. I did hook up a few things to the camera. One is my remote switch, which I will use to depress my shutter. What that does is reduce the amount of movement that occurs when I actually depress the shutter on the camera. This does hook into my Canon 30D. I also hooked in over here a little power cord, PC cord that attaches to my flash unit. And the first thing, of course, I want to do is make sure that my camera is turned on. I'm going to check my ISO setting and choose it at 400. And the first shot I'm going to do a series of shots here. First shot I'm going to do is a couple shots where I'm going to shoot without a flash unit. Now, because my CCD is set at 5500 Kelvin, when I take the shot underneath this flash unit, it's going to create a yellow cast. And then I'm going to adjust or be able to hook in my PC cord and take a shot with the flash unit. You'll see the flash go off and be able to adjust different settings so that way I can show you on the computer. So the first thing I'm doing here is composing my shot, and I'm going to find a nice little composition. When I'm shooting in, on a tripod, still lifes, I'm usually going to choose a manual focus because then I can focus on either foreground, middle ground, background, whatever I'd like. This first shot I'm going to take is I'm going to focus on the foreground because it's a very low light situation. I know that I'm going to need a longer exposure than the amount of light that I get out of a flash. Therefore, I'll probably have to use a wide open aperture, and you're going to see how depth of field works. So when I depress my shutter halfway down, I see right now that at 15th of a second, f2.8, even at an ISO rating of 400, would give me, according to my calculations for lighting, would give me a proper exposure. So I'm going to click the shutter, get that shot, and of course I see it show up here. And I see that I focused on the foreground, and I'm focusing on this little sphere in the foreground. When I take this photo, the objects in the background, the box, sort of go out of focus. Now I'm going to adjust to give myself a little bit more latitude in my aperture, and of course I have to open up my shutter speed, and if I open it up to 2 seconds, I will be able to shoot this image at 2 seconds at f16. Same focus on the foreground, same lighting situation. You can see how long it takes for that, and of course I should be using my remote switch. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to go down even further. I'm going to go down to 6 seconds, and that lets me take my, or let's see, let me go down to 4 seconds, and it lets me take my aperture up to f22. Click that shutter, 4 seconds, there it goes, and now I have my shot. So I'm going to now show you the difference between using this lighting situation where we just have a bare bulb incandescent, hooking my flash unit into here. Now I know that my flash unit is much more powerful than the light from the incandescent bulb. So I'm going to come back up to shooting at an 80th of a second and try a flash shot at f13, and my focus is still on the foreground bulb, and I see this is blown up very white, so let's try that again. I'm going to take this up to f18 at 400, 80th of a second, and let me review it. And that looks a little bit better. Let me even try another shot here, and I'm going to take this up to f22, Now that looks like a pretty good exposure. Of course, with f/22, I have an incredible depth of field here, and everything is in focus from this front corner to that back, and that's even focusing on this ball in the front. I could extend that depth of field by focusing somewhere in between, like that center bottle, and I'm going to try one of those shots. And this is at an 80th of a second, f/22 at 400 ISO. And it looks like I have a pretty good shot. So we're going to now take the camera down, shut the flash units off, and get to the studio and see what it looks like when we start to download these images, how we hook up our camera into the computer, some of the software that we'll be able to use if you have it. If not, you're going to have to use whatever software you have. Certainly Lightroom is an inexpensive management software. Adobe Bridge, Camera Raw, which are significant, especially if we're shooting raw images, and then of course Photoshop for some pixel manipulation if we have that. And we're going to be able to do what we can do with the equipment we have. So I'll be back and we'll see you in a bit.